this is Lani with Broken Stampin', and today I'm participating in the Stamp Around the World video hop. It's for April 2026, and today we are doing a sketch challenge. This is the one that we're going to be doing today, and this is the card that I have done with that challenge. So join me today while we make this cute little card. Make sure once you're done here to hop along over to the other demonstrators and share some love, and they're going to have their projects for the sketch challenge. So let's try today and see what we're going to do. All right, for my sketch challenge, I decided to use the soon to be released Relaxing Waterside Suite. It's the actual, I only got the bundle and the paper, because I didn't really need to have all the other stuff, but I wanted to have this adorable stamp set. I mean, it is just right up my alley with this beaches and anything ocean related. The stamps do have a coordinating die cut set that I didn't actually use, but I did cut out one of the little options. It is just super cute. This is a little chair that cuts out into pieces. So this chair is created using this, and then the little hands or arms right there to make this cute little chair that I ended up not using for the card, but I wanted to share it anyway because it was just adorable. So that's for my little Lego here. Okay, that I'm not going to be using though. We're just going to be using the stamp set. The colors I chose today is Pebbled Path, or if you don't have that, would be Granite, Gray Granite, and Crumb Cake. The color choice that I used for the back is Cloud Cover. Didn't really use the ink for that. So let me show you this one here. So that's the inks. This is, again, the Relaxing Waterside that'll be released in this May. Background is going to be the Cloud Cover base. I'm using Very Vanilla as the border. And then as the focal point, I also use Cloud Cover for the sentiment bar, and then the DSP is the Waterside Retreat, and it's the big piece of paper, this one. And look how pretty the back side is. It was really hard to pick a certain back, but I just went with this one. I thought this looked better, so we're using the back or the second side of the Waterside paper. All right, let's start this card. All right, so I have a piece of Very Vanilla. Now for the middle or the focal point, I ended up cutting out the inside because I like to be able to use all the paper instead of having this whole piece being hidden. So that's what I used to cut my circle out. I used the deckled circles. This is the 7th from the outside. And when it's done cutting, it measures a diameter of 3.5 inches. And we are going to chop off one of those edges. But for now, we don't need to do any of the cutting, but we are going to glue these down. This size here is the standard cut in half, the 5.5 by 8.5. Then you scored at 4.25 for that. The background here is going to be, let's see, that one is the 5.25 by 4 inches. So go ahead and put some glue down here. Now I find when you do these circle ones or any kind of die cut in the middle, you don't want to put a lot of glue on your cover page, the DSP that goes over top, so you don't get a big huge circle divot excuse me, in your card. So this is just a layered part for this, so we're going to glue this one down too. Just not going to put a ton of glue in the middle. This one measures 3 3/4 by 4. Let's see, is that the one? I think it was 3 3. I wrote this is the sketch, and I wrote down the measurements here. So the DSP is 3 3/4 by 5. That's right, because the Very Vanilla base is going to be 4 by 5.25. The deckled circle is number 7. And the rectangle size for the sentiment, I used 1/2 inch by 3 1/4 inch. So I'm going to glue that one down. Oh, that's really pretty, but a little too busy for our piece, I think, today. So I'm going to glue this side. Mostly glue the edge here. Just a dot in the middle. And go ahead and glue this one down. So there is our base. That part is all complete. Now we get to do the fun part, which is stamping. The stamp here is, I used the bigger block for it. I'm gonna go ahead and treat that. Now I used, I'm going to use a mask for this part because I wanted the bushes or cattails and stuff to be behind the chair. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. I'm going to use your dark color. So this one I use Pebbled Path. This is a retired color, so you want to use gray granite. And we're going to slightly put this one, make sure you're on there, to the left of the circle because we're going to chop off that little edge. So I just kind of line the little chair up towards the edge of the circle. I die cut all this and did pre-cuts out to save some time. So we're all done with the actual chair. So go ahead and clean your stamp. Now, I pre-cut a mask. Now the thing about a mask that I like to do, so I just stamped it right on to a piece of Post-it notes. And the nice thing, once you do this once, you only have to do it really once because you can keep it. I just keep it right in with my stamps and then I can use it in another time, especially because this is a type of stamp that I'll probably use masking just so I can stamp it the way I want it. So we're going to line that right inside the chair. So if you're going to do your Post-it, you want to make sure it's the side that you need the most, or one of the sides has the sticky end. So then you'll take this here, you'll stamp it right to the edge. You can do as much space as you can get, then just cut it out. As long as you have a little tackiness of any of the Post-it, it'll work. And just cut as much to the edge as you can so it fits inside the line art of your cutout. So for the cattails, I use crumb cake. So I'm going to use the little one and the big one. There it is. Here we go. Now I wanted to go ahead and ink it up. Let's see here. I'll make sure you can see them. You zoom in a little bit. All right, so when you use the mask, you really need to put down a lot of pressure because you want to get that whole image on there. So I'm just gonna, I think I did the other one. I'm gonna use this on the big one here. So we're just gonna set it right here. So I want it to kind of overlap a little and then stamp down. And you just want to make sure you push really good so it gets all the way in the areas, the negative areas of the stamp. So I used one big one there. I think that was the only big stamp I really liked. The rest of them ended up being the smaller one. I'm going to take the smaller and then I'm going to put it right here. That one's going to go in front. This one's going to go right back there. And go ahead and put one right behind the chair. All right, looks a little messy, but this is the magical part. So when you take that mask off, carefully, now you've got your little cattails behind the chair. So I also want to put a few in front of the chair, but it needs to have a little bit of a path where the person is relaxing on the chair. So I'm just going to do it right here near the leg of the chair. Maybe one more right there. So that is all for that. Then I wanted to do some shading on the chair, because sometimes I'd shade the bottom where it's sitting, but this didn't really look like it needed it. But I did like a little bit of the shading on the chair. So if you look at the original with the shading and without the shading, it makes quite a difference. So to shade this, I'm just going to use the light pebbled path of the blends. So if you're using gray granite, make sure you use the light of the gray granite. And you're just gonna, so whenever you are coloring or highlighting, if you don't know, you just kind of have an idea of where the sun is shining. So for me, for some reason, I always imagine the sun is shining on the right, on the upper right. So once you put your sun in your mind, your shadow kind of works its way on the image. So now you know you're going to have to go on this side of the chair. You just got to imagine if that sun was hitting that chair, where that shading would come. Now, the artists on these are amazing, and they've already kind of added some some shadowing in there. So we don't have to do very much work, but I did want to put a little bit on each side of these chair pieces. Not too much, just a little. So you're just going to shade a little line down each side. And then this part here is definitely going to be in the shade of that sun. And probably a little bit right here on the sides. Maybe a little bit more down there. And then if that's... So that's pretty much all the shading I'm going to do. Just gives it a little bit of depth. So, and if you wanted to add some shading underneath your chair, you could do that as well. Oops, sorry about that. But since this is going to get a little bit covered up, I'm just going to leave it like that. We've got our main chair down. So let me back this out again. Make sure you get everything. There we go. All right. So go ahead and put your mask aside. And now we're going to do a little trimming, so this is on the edge. So just going to get, I just guesstimated. You really don't have to measure, since I have a lot of space. And I want to make sure the chair is pretty much upright. Or maybe a little angle, however you want. I just kind of moved it. Just cut off a piece. Just like that. Now this part is going to go right over here. So I think I'm going to put it down. I did a little high on the sample. Now I did cut this out just because a lot of people like to border. I debated about doing the border on this one. So that's what it would look like with an extra border. But for some reason, I just like this, for this particular card, I like it without the border. So now we're just going to glue this one down as well. Get your glue out and just put a little bit of that on there. And just about halfway down. And there you have it. There is that part of our layout, our sketch challenge. All right, then I have my piece. I ended up doing cloud cover, which is the base of the card. Instead, I had very vanilla, but I just didn't like how bright it was, and the cloud cover won. So we're going to use the cloud cover to do the rest of our stamping. This is the one, it's a 1/2 inch by 3 1/4. And this card, I decided I'm going to make it a Happy Father's Day card. So I wanted to put a little bit on the sentiment block without it being too plain. So I did the cattails. Put this right over here. as the edge. And then I couldn't resist the seagulls. I mean, gulls are quite characters anyway, but I mean, how cute is that guy? They're so adorable. So I'm going to go ahead and use those. And we're going to make this set actually has a really nice Happy Father's Day. So I'm gonna make sure I line that up. Put that right there. Perfect. Happy Father's Day. And this little gull is going to be flying right there. Oh, he's so cute. Now this part I actually popped up. So the sketch to me really had like that. It looks like it was popped up rather than flat. So I'm going to go ahead and use it. I made my borders here a little bit not quite as thick because I just ended up making it that way. It wasn't intentional, it's just how it happened. So I'm going to go, you can use some dimensionals on this little bar here. And we're about done. So I really appreciate any comments you guys want to give. So I'm going to set this one a little bit lower, not by much, than the other card. But thank you so much for joining today. Let's show you both those cards here. Simple, sweet, and now you're going to make somebody's day. Now this one I did an inside, just stamped the bird, have a great birthday, and then I put the cattails grass on the inside. So you can do that on the inside of your card as well. But this set has the Happy Father's Day and here's to a new chapter or relax. I mean, the images on this are so pretty. I'll probably put the seagull on the envelope. So there you have it. Please give the other demonstrators some love and attention, and they will really appreciate anything you can give. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again next month. Bye-bye.